All right, today we are diving into a really powerful speech from a pivotal moment in history. Picture this. A nation is standing on the edge of a massive conquest, and their leader tells them something absolutely shocking. He says, "You're going to win, but it is not because you deserve it." So, we're going to explore why this warning was so important. Let's get into it.
So, just imagine for a second. You are standing at the border of a promised land. You're about to face the fight of your life. But this isn't some gentle pep talk. No, the speech kicks off with this stark reminder of the massive challenge waiting for them just across the river. The stakes really couldn't be any higher.
Now, the first part of this whole speech, it seems pretty straightforward, right? It's all about the promise of a divinely backed, what seems like an inevitable victory. It kind of sounds like your standard pre-battle rally cry. But let's be really clear about what they were up against. The speaker doesn't downplay the enemy at all. In fact, he does the opposite. He describes these huge, fortified cities with walls that reach up to the sky. He talks about legendary warriors, the Anakites, who are basically seen as giants, totally unbeatable. The message is crystal clear. Humanly speaking, this is an impossible fight.
So you have to ask, where is their confidence supposed to come from? Well, the speech promises that God himself will act as a devouring fire, going ahead of them to take down these powerful nations. So the victory isn't just promised, it's promised to be quick.
And right when you think this is just a standard battle cry, the speech takes this sharp, unexpected turn. It pivots from promising a huge victory to warning against the one thing that victory almost always creates: pride.
The speaker gets right in their faces and confronts the one thought he knows is brewing in the back of everyone's mind. We must deserve this. We earned this victory through our own goodness. He just cuts them off before they can even go there, warning them not to even think about chalking this up to their own righteousness.
So the argument is laid out with perfect clarity. Their success is not a result of their own goodness. Instead, the text gives two completely different reasons. First, the wickedness of the people who are currently living there, and second, an unbreakable promise that God made generations earlier to their ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
And just to really hammer the point home, the speaker uses this incredible phrase, "You are a stiff-necked people." Now, this isn't just some casual insult. It's a formal charge. It means they're stubborn, rebellious, and resistant to guidance. And now, he's about to present Exhibit A to prove it.
The centerpiece of his entire argument is the infamous golden calf incident. This isn't just some random story he's pulling out of a hat. It's presented as the ultimate proof against the people's own righteousness, the very definition of their stiff-necked nature.
Okay, so here's the scene. Their leader Moses is up on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. Think about that. That's over a month. And he's receiving the very laws that are supposed to define them as a nation. This is a sacred, foundational moment.
So while Moses is up on the mountain, the situation down below completely unravels with shocking speed. The people build a golden calf and start worshiping it. God gets so angry he threatens to just wipe them out entirely. When Moses comes down and sees this rebellion with his own eyes, he smashes the stone tablets, a powerful symbol that the sacred agreement, the covenant, was broken almost as soon as it was made.
And make no mistake, this was not a minor slip-up. According to the text, God's reaction was one of pure, total wrath, a desire to destroy the people and just start over. This is the absolute lowest point of their entire journey. But the story doesn't end there. We now shift to the emotional climax of this whole story. Moses, the leader of this rebellious people, turns from being their judge to becoming their desperate advocate.
I mean, just look at the depth of this response. Moses goes through another grueling 40-day period of fasting and praying. No food, no water. This is not a quick apology. It's this profound act of intercession, where he physically places himself between his people and God's anger. So his plea begins by appealing to God's own reputation. He calls the people God's own inheritance, the very nation he worked so hard to redeem from Egypt. The argument is basically, don't destroy your own project. Think about what all the other nations are going to say. And this right here, this is the core of his argument. He doesn't defend the people. He doesn't make excuses for them. In fact, he specifically asks God to overlook their stubbornness and their wickedness. Instead, he asks God to remember his promise, that oath he made to their ancestors. It's a pure appeal for mercy, asking God to act based on his own faithfulness, not on the people's worthiness. And here is where it all comes together.
That story of their greatest failure, it isn't a detour. It's the entire point. It reveals the true foundation that their entire future is built on.
And this brings us right back to the beginning. Their victory isn't something they earned, it's something they were given. It's not a wage paid for their righteousness, but a gift, a complete act of grace, based entirely on God's own promise and His own purpose.
So that leaves us with a final thought. This ancient text argues that remembering your greatest failure is actually essential to understanding who you are. It's what teaches humility, and it's what points you towards grace. And it kind of makes you wonder, what is the real power in honestly confronting not our successes, but our mistakes?